Welcome to the Real Estate Investing Podcast, where we help you unlock your potential freedom through land investing, real estate investing, and entrepreneurship.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Real Estate Investing Podcast. I'm your host, Ron Apke. Today in this episode, I'm going to talk about our first and only deal that we have lost money on. The first land deal that we've lost money on. I'm going to tell a story, what happened, what went wrong, how we could have potentially avoided it, and get into it. This is going to be a shorter episode, but I'm going to try to help you guys ideally not lose money on deals. Like we've done over 1,000 deals, guys. It's not like this is a regular occurrence for us. I loved being able to say I've done 800 deals and never lost money on a deal. But eventually it was going to happen. We knew that that something was going to eventually happen where we lost money. This was kind of a perfect storm situation where we lost some money on the deal. Just a lot of things went wrong after we made the decision to buy the deal, after we already put our money out. So it's a good situation to learn from. It can happen. You can do so much to avoid it. For that one deal that we've lost money on, we've made millions and millions of dollars. We made all that money back. Uh, so much. Like it doesn't affect me looking at it. It just was a good learning lesson to look back and see what we could have potentially done as a team with my staff. What could we have done to potentially not let this happen? So, like I said, we've done over 1,000 deals. We've lost money on one deal. Today, I'm going to focus on that one deal. What happened? What went wrong? What we could have done differently? There's people in our community who have done hundreds of deals without losing money on a deal. It's definitely possible. And the way we do business is trying to reduce risk as much as possible. But from time to time, things will happen. And ideally, when you do lose money, you lose a very minimal amount of money if you do lose money at all. But more times than not, you're making money in this business for sure. You just need to do your due diligence really well. So to start off, this was a 40-acre property. I'm not going to get into location, anything like that. It was a 40-acre property. It was about 100 feet off the road with an easement going through it. You're going to it. So it was going through a couple other properties, 40 acres. We were under contract to buy this. I want to say we were under contract for $50,000 to buy this property. We negotiated them down because it was off the road. The access wasn't great. But we had physical and legal access. So we negotiated them down to $30,000. So we were buying for $30,000. We thought this could resell anywhere from $75,000 to $90,000 based on how it was. It was flat. It had a beautiful pond. Everything looked really good. Pictures came back. We had a realtor in that area who gave us a really good price opinion, who we've used before, and we were planning on using him to list it. So we felt really, really solid about this deal, especially when we negotiated down. And getting into that negotiation, guys, like I said, it was good land, but it had that defect with the access being off the road, with it being an easement through a couple other properties. But the access was good enough where it wasn't a huge concern as far as buyers. Like when you have a defect, I always think about how is this going to affect my end buyers? Is my buyer pool going to be smaller? What are they going to say when they go view this property? I was not overly concerned about the access, but it did give us the opportunity to negotiate down, I believe, $20,000, like I said. Um, so we bought it. I mean, we bought it. Realtor listed it up. He got pictures. Everything looked really good. We bought the property, $30,000. We were all in for like $32,000, $33,000, something like that. And we listed it up. Everything was good. We felt really good about the property. I think we listed it for $85,000. First week, realtor calls us back. He's like, yeah, really good interest on this property. He was showing people, he was sticking to their numbers. I think we got a couple low ball offers around $65,000, $70,000. Didn't take anything. After a week or two, he got an offer for $80,000. It was a cash offer, but they did want a survey. I didn't think twice really about the survey. I probably should have, looking back, like thought about the survey a little more. But I'm like, yeah, that's fine. It's $80,000. Maybe they started at 75 and we met in the middle. We had it list for 85 and we met in the middle at 80,000. So, I mean, this looked like a buy for 33, sell for 80,000 minus realtor fees. We'd be netting, we'd be making about $42,000 profit or so on this property. So we're excited. Like this is going to be a 4-week close. They knew a surveyor in the area who could make this happen pretty fast. So they go and order the survey. So this is when things went wrong. So we get the survey back, they get the survey back, and there was a break in the easement. So the easement was not written out through a survey. And I know this is going to get a little bit complex, but I just want to explain the situation. So essentially, our access was broken. So we had to go through 2 properties. The easement was written through one property and not properly written through the second property, which is breaking our access to our property. So essentially, we had a landlocked property, a property with no legal access to it, which is a huge, huge issue in this business. Um, the surveyor said like, yeah, he drew us a expected easement. Like if we could reach out to the neighbors, we could not make that happen. So he said like, here's the neighbors in front. If you guys can get them to sign off on this easement, everything will be good. The buyers were good, everything like that. There was deaths in the family for the parcel that the people that owned the parcel in front of it. So we could never get that legal access to our property. That is the huge, huge issue of what happened with this deal is we had a property a couple 100 feet off the road. The easement was broken. This easement was written initially with a legal description, and we couldn't, like, end buyers knew it. They couldn't get to our property legally. Was there a path going directly to our property? Yes, but they could not legally get to our property. So, going back a little bit, when we bought this property, I was concerned about the legality of the access, but I asked our title company, I said, just can you confirm that this is legal access? Want to make sure we're insured on this. And they insured legal access to our property. They reviewed the legal description of the easement, they reviewed everything like that. And they said, like, yes, this is legal access to your property. So what we did, we filed a claim with them and it actually got denied. Even though they insured legal access, I honestly didn't ask too many questions in terms of why it got denied. I probably should have asked a few more. But our claim to get our money back for this deal, because it didn't have access when they insured access, was denied. I didn't push much back on this, to be honest, because my thoughts were like, okay, we can probably sell it for $40,000 or $45,000 even without legal access. So when you're buying properties without legal access, obviously we didn't know this up front, but I'm saying for end buyers, you cannot get loans. Like typically banks will not loan on properties without legal access. There's just so much more risk. Building is very difficult. So our buyer pool shrunk from a huge buyer pool. People in the area who are looking for 40 acres, a little off the road, good hunting property. You can build on it. You can get to the property legally, to a very, very shrunken buyer pool of people who maybe just are looking for some cheaper land to hold long term, didn't have any access, obviously. So that is what our buyer pool did, just from getting the results of that survey. So, like I said, I didn't push too much back on the survey or the insurance. The surveyor I pushed back a little bit, but I went through the legal description. Everything checked out in terms of what he was saying, and I was like, "Crap, we messed up. The title company messed up, and we don't have access. So we have this property now, 40 acres, without access." So what we did, so I told the realtor, let's figure out how to get this sold. I think we dropped it to $50,000 from 85. So we were listed for 85. We went under contract for 80. They ordered a survey. Survey came back with no access. The buyers backed out. Understandably, the buyers backed out. Like, yeah, I'm not paying $80,000 for that. We asked them if there's a price. They said, like, no, we there's no price for this for us, unfortunately. So we lowered the price to 50,000 from 85. We're like, let's just get this offloaded. Ideally we don't lose money. Ideally we can make $5,000-$10,000. Let's get this offloaded, listed for 50,000. Couple months go by, maybe 6 weeks go by at $50,000, no buyers. So we keep lowering it. I think we lowered it to 40. $40,000 probably sat for 6-8 weeks. He had some bites on it because we were so cheap. We had 40 acres now listed for 40 for $40,000, and buyers are interested in that, but there is that caveat that there's no legal access. So our realtor was very transparent with all the buyers. He didn't want to waste their time. He didn't want them to waste his time. And finally, we got an offer for $35,000. So I didn't want to negotiate at this point. I wanted my money back, or as close to it as possible. So we closed on the deal. It was a cash offer, closed in like 10 days or something very fast. $35,000. They're getting 40 acres. They're going to be happy. If they find a way to get legal access to that property, they're going to have a property that's worth $80,000 or $90,000. So what the numbers ended up looking, it was like buy for 33,000 and we got like 31.8 or something like that back. So we lost 12 or $1,500 on this deal. More than that though, guys, it was losing the time and energy that I put into a deal. I think it was start to finish, it was 6 or 7 months. I probably put 20 hours into this deal and lost $1,200. Did I learn some things? Did my team learn some things? Absolutely. But the time and energy that I put in to lose money was, I reflected on it quite a bit and what we could do. So finally getting into like how you can potentially prevent something like this from happening. I review this situation quite a bit in my head, and there wasn't a ton. Like I was pretty with the title company. I asked them time and time again, and I have the emails. Like I asked them, "Did you guys? Are we sure this has legal access?" Yes, yes, it has legal access, and they showed me the legal description, everything like that. They just calculated it incorrectly. So I look back at this situation quite a bit. The best way to prevent this, and the reason we've done over 1,000 deals and lost money on one deal, is because how stringent we are on due diligence and how willing we are to negotiate down. If remember at the beginning of this, when I said I negotiated down from 50,000 to $30,000, if we didn't do that, we're looking at an $18,000, $20,000 loss, and that's going to hurt much, much more than a $1,200 loss. So if you're willing to negotiate and make your margins great, like our projected margins were amazing on this deal. Things went as south, as bad as they possibly could go, and we still only lost $1,200. If you have tight margins and something goes wrong, you can lose a significant amount of money on deals. That's just the reality of this business. That's a reality of missing things in due diligence, title companies missing something, anything like that can happen. So I want you guys, when you are doing due diligence, one, always be willing to negotiate down. If the deal doesn't make sense, if you're nervous about the deal, be willing to negotiate, talk to sellers. A lot of them will take your lower offer if there's something that's potentially wrong with the deal. So that is a huge, huge learning lesson. Do very deep due diligence for sure. Other than that, guys, hopefully you guys can learn something from us losing a little bit of money on a deal. It's not the end of the world for us by any means, but it's a very, very good learning situation for us and for you guys in the community. If you guys have not already, please hit the subscribe button below, hit the like button below. Maybe someone else could be helped out with this video. Share it with them. Would really, really appreciate anything like that. If you guys need anything else, please let us know in the comments. If you have any future video ideas, future podcast ideas, please let me know. Otherwise, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
As always, thank you for joining. Please do us a huge favor and like and subscribe our YouTube channel and share this with a friend. It really means the world to Ron and I, but more importantly, it could help change the life of someone else. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next episode.